Hello and welcome to the Art of Decluttering podcast. I'm your host, Amy Revell. Happy Monday if you're listening to this in real time, or happy late Sunday evening if you're in the Northern Hemisphere and you're a day behind, like my Northern American friends. It is lovely to be in your ears, and I'm hoping today is an episode that whether you completely agree with me or completely disagree with me, you feel like I'm on your side. Because what I want to do is talk about something that I've noticed in my own home, and I've noticed in lots of clients' homes, really over the last 10 years. Can you believe it's nearly been 10 years that I've been in the professional organising game? That blows my mind. I've never done anything for 10 years and still loved it at the end of it, aside from marriage and children. So one of the things I want to talk about is the topic of out or away. And the idea is that a lot of people find that if they put something away, they kind of forget it exists, like out of sight, out of mind. And then there's other people who, if they don't put something away, so if they leave it out, leave it on the bench, leave it on the floor, they just feel like this constant, I can't settle, I can't rest, that thing's driving me crazy. And there is no right or wrong. And sometimes, I find some things really bother me when they're left out, and some things really bother me when they're put away. And so it's all about trying to work out what works best for you. And sometimes you don't even think about these things until a moment like today, when we're going to talk about specific items. Do you like them away or do you like them out? And it's not until we talk about it that you're like, actually, that is a bugbear of mine, and I've never communicated that to the people that I live with. And it's not a wonder they don't know, and they keep getting it wrong, and they keep driving me crazy, but you've never told them. So I've got a list of, 15, 20 different kind of items around the house that I find is key to whether you keep something out or you put something away. But I want to talk about the reasons why to start off with. So some of the reasons we keep things out is because we want easy access. We don't want to forget about it. It's on high rotation. There may not be enough room for it. There may not be an away, like the away is out. Sometimes we want to keep things out because it's too hard or too heavy or too awkward to bring them out every time you want to use them. And so we don't put them away because we want them to be easily accessible. Now, I find that actually in different cultures, what is socially acceptable to be out can actually change. I've been in clients' homes when they're like, oh no, I would never leave the toaster out. And yet I grew up in, all the households I can think of, including my entire adult life. Well, no, the toaster is like a given. That gets to stay on the bench. That's an out item. Whereas I've definitely worked with clients who are like, no way, a toaster is an away item. And so it's not about me coming and telling you, yes, this one is an out and this one is an away. It's you working out, okay, which one do I want to do? And there are some really good reasons for putting things away as well. So sometimes you might put things away because it's just really annoying when you're constantly looking at it. You get visual clutter. And so putting something away also means that you're not only having to not look at it, you know where to find it. And if you're in a big household, or if you've got memory issues, or if clutter is an issue for you, away can be really good because you know exactly where it is. Sometimes out just means out. It may not have a specific location, but when you put something away, we're talking about like a home for it. I wanted to all our Australian friends, I wanted to call this episode like home or away. And then I realized that home and away were the same thing in this context. But that is a soap opera that I might still be on. I have no idea. I've never actually watched it. Very popular in Australia and probably in the UK as well. But you can just Google the show Home and Away if you want to have a look at what that is. So let's dive in. Let's talk about the different items. I'm going to tell you what I do, and I'm going to tell you why I do it, but I'm also going to explain what other people do. So we're going to start with the toaster like we just talked about. I keep my toaster out because we use it almost every day. We don't use it every day. We totally could put it away. And what I have found for people that are away, the away vote for a toaster, is that we usually have it on a tray. So by having it on a tray, you're then not having crumbs just moved around your kitchen all the time. And you're not having to kind of pick up the toaster and make sure the crumbs aren't falling out and get the cord. If it's on a tray, the cord just kind of wraps around the toaster and the tray is the receptacle for the toaster. And so then you can very easily slide it into a cupboard, put it on a shelf, put it in a drawer, whatever works for you. I think if I had the space, I would probably be an away toaster person because I don't don't have toast every day. But our family, out works completely for us. Similarly, but not similarly, our air fryer. So the air fryer is something we probably do use every day. However, it's really big and bulky, and I don't like the look of it. So that is an away item for us. As soon as the air fryer is cool enough, it goes away. Even if the bowl and the inserts need to be washed, the air fryer is definitely an away item for us. But heaps of clients have it as an out item. And if you think of like bench tops, so we're not going to go through every item in your kitchen. But if you think about your bench top, I've got lots of clients that will leave like a Thermomix or a food processor out. That's an out item. A microwave is an out item. But it might be that your blender is an away item. It might be based on frequency of use. It might be based on the heaviness of it or the safety of it. Maybe you're like, I personally would quite like to keep out this particular item. I'm not sure my 4-year-old is, trustworthy enough. And so my theory is if something's out, I want it to be so easily accessible, like that it's plugged in. It's ready to go. Like our coffee machine is out. Our kettle is out. Our sandwich maker, away. Our air fryer, away. Our Mixmaster, away. Everyone's different, but have a think about it. And there might be things on your bench that you've always thought were out things. And now you're looking at it going, actually, I don't even use that once a week. That needs to become an away thing. When you talk about kitchens and bathrooms in particular, another really great reason for things to be away is just hygienically, is you don't want oil splattering on them. You don't want dust getting on things that you're then going to put food in. So like from that perspective, in fact, now I'm saying that, I think my toaster needs to be an away thing, because what if dust gets in, I suppose it falls through, processing out loud, you guys make your own decision, but dust, grime, dirt, things flying around the kitchen, bit of oil splash. Think about that. If you've got items that are out, maybe from a food safety and hygienic perspective, you want them to be away things. So let's move to the bathroom. Let's talk about things like hair dryer and hair straightener. These need to be away in any house that I live in. These are away things, but I don't use them every day. In fact, I don't even own a hair straightener, but I have bought a hair dryer in the last few years. But the reason for me that they're an away thing is because they're just so big and bulky, and those cords are really long, and they're not easy to kind of balance on a bench. They're going to take up a lot of space. So for me, they are definitely away. But I'm a big, toothbrushes have to be away. I don't like the thought of a toothbrush being out on the bench when other people are brushing their teeth. You're putting on makeup, you're spraying hairspray, you're doing hair products. Maybe you've got a toilet in there. Maybe you're doing deodorant. I hate the thought of all of that getting on a toothbrush. So for me, toothbrushes are definitely away. We don't have any face level storage in either of our bathrooms. And so the toothbrushes just go in the cupboards in a receptacle that gets washed fairly regularly, but it's in the cupboard and it's not going to have all kinds of airborne particles go on it. I hope you're not eating. I'll move on. In our lounge room, this is a big one for lots of families, TV remote. Do you have your TV remote as an out or an away item? And if it's out, does it stay out in a particular spot? Like, is it always on the coffee table and that's its home? So it kind of is away. It's just not hidden away, but it's in its home. We keep all of our remotes in a drawer in kind of the TV. It's not a TV unit, but it's shelving around the TV. All our remotes. So for the fan, for the, what other devices do we have out there? TV, gone are the days when there's a DVD player and video player and speakers and whatever. But all of our remotes, air conditioning remotes, all of that live in a drawer. And for us, that works really well because we can always find it. Otherwise, in a household of ADHDers, we're forever looking for the TV remote down the side of the couches. Did someone pick it up and wander into the kitchen? And so having it away means that we can always find it, and it just saves that, level of frustration. What about shoes? I reckon in most homes, shoes are an out thing. People are like, well, I'm going to put them on again. And you might have 3 or 4 pairs on the go. And it might be that they're out near the front door. It might be that they're out in your wardrobe or in your bedroom, or you might take them off in the lounge room, or whatever it is. I find that so many homes have shoes as an out item. Now, the theory in the Ravel house is that shoes are an away item. what we have at our front door is shoe containers, and the idea is you come in and you put your shoes in there so they go away. Everybody's really good at that except me, ironically, and mine's the closest to the door. Like mine's literally the easiest. But because I'm probably the person that's in and out of the house the most, I find that I have most of my shoes away, and I would generally have one out pair. And so, I'm breaking my own rules here. Shoes are an away thing, but I leave a pair out. The kids always take their shoes into their bedroom and they always put them in their shoe boxes, or if they've got just one pair on the go, they might take it off for an hour and put them back on. But have a think, if you want shoes to be an away thing, how do you make that easy? So it's not just about saying, oh, I want them to be away. It's like, well, how do I then implement that? What is the storage solution that's going to make that easier than having it out? So if you want something to be an away, you need to have easy access. You need to have it clear. You need to have it in the location that you want it to be. So it's a really simple, I've finished with the toaster. I've taken my shoes off. I've finished with my toothbrush. It takes one step to put it away. I don't mean physical step, like one action to put it away. I open up the bathroom cupboard and the toothbrush goes away. I open up the shoebox. I put my shoes away. I open up the cupboard door. The toaster goes in there. I'm going to, this is very controversial, this one, and it's sponges and plugs for the dishes. I have my entire life always just left the sponge and the plug for the kitchen sink on the kitchen sink. Just forever. I've never even thought that I should put the sponge and the plug away until I have started working in people's homes that are much neater and tidier than me, and they put that stuff away. And it blows my mind. And I really, really like it. I think it looks neater. It looks neater. That's really the only advantage that I can see. But what a lot of people would do is have a little basket on the inside of the door under the sink. And so it's really easy. You just open that, pop it in. There's heaps of cool little contraptions that you can buy for your sink so that if they are still wet, like if the plug and the sponge are dripping, you can let them drip and then you can put them away. I haven't gone down this path for the moment. I'm quite happy for them just to sit in the dish rack. But have a think. Do you want your sponge and your sink plug out or away? Next one is washing baskets. And I think I've talked many, many times about washing baskets on the show because washing baskets in most households are out items, whereas I think they should be away items. Because when they're out, it means that the washing cycle has got stuck somewhere. If you have a washing basket out in a bedroom, it's probably because the washing hasn't been put away. If you've got a washing basket out in the living room, it's probably because the washing hasn't been sorted. If you've got a washing basket out in the laundry, it's probably because there's a load that needs to be either put on or put out or taken in or taken out. Like they indicate that the washing cycle has kind of stopped and got stunted at some point. I love nothing more. I know, complete nerd here. I love nothing more than putting a washing basket away. It's kind of that final, I've done the final step in the washing process and the basket is going away. And it just feels like I'm closing the loop. And so there may be something in your house. It may not be a washing basket, but it may be something that putting that particular thing away closes the loop for you. It might be the reusable shopping bags that you use when you go to the supermarket. So you come home, you unpack all the groceries, you put everything away, and then you've got this pile of reusable shopping bags. It might be the fact that you're putting those away where they belong and you've got a home for them, and putting them away is like, now the groceries are done. Whereas other families will just have a pile at the front door of reusable shopping bags. And I think that's just frustrating. I think if you can have a home for your reusable shopping bags, do it, even if it's just the boot of the car. It doesn't need to be some fancy home in your house. It doesn't need to be anything super special. It could just be one bag where all the other bags get shoved inside, and that's what away looks like for you. But the washing basket, the reusable shopping bags, it's like, does that finish and close the loop, finish the task for you? One of the things that I very quickly as an adult realized I needed was a home for my keys, because as an ADHDer, I can just lose them. I just lose my keys all the time. As soon as I've left the house, I've lost my keys. Usually they're on me or in a bag or like in one of the pockets of my handbag, but I never know which one. And so at home, I have a hook and the keys go up there the minute I walk in the house. And therefore, I never lose them. So they're kind of out. I can see them. So they're not hidden away. They're not in a drawer. That doesn't work for me. They're out, but they're away. They're where they belong. This is one that, the next one is a hard one, and it's phone chargers. Do you leave your phone charger out all the time, or do you pack it away until you need it? I'm an out person, but I only have 3 places that I charge my phone: next to my bed, at my desk, and in my car. So I have 3 phone chargers permanently plugged in and ready to go. But we don't, so I know this is, all the good parenting experts and everybody that knows about sleep does the opposite of what I'm going to tell you that we do. So don't do as I say. No, do as I say, not as I do. But I charge my phone in my bedroom at night. So we don't have cords and chargers around the house. The cords and chargers are in each person's bedroom. And so we find that really helpful because there's just the one there. I've got one at my desk, Hal's got one at his desk, and one in each car. And that seems to work really well. All other chargers or backup chargers or multi-chargers or travel chargers or charging banks, all of that is away. They're all together. It makes sense. We know where to find them. But we do keep some chargers out because you're using it multiple times a day, or at least multiple hours in every day. Let's jump back to the bathroom because I find it really tricky to know how much to keep on a countertop or a bench top. In our ensuite, so our kids' one's pretty easy. They don't really keep anything on the actual countertop. They've got a drawer each next to the sink, and they just keep all their stuff in there. Their deodorant, their toothbrush, everything lives in there. However, in our bathroom, it's a tiny, tiny, tiny little bench, but there is no additional storage. And so what I've got is a little tray where I keep my everyday kind of toiletries, makeup, deodorant, perfume, my moisturizer, the things I use every day are sitting up on the bench. And the way that I kind of make that feel away, this is a trick for you. If you've got something you want out, but you want it to feel away, having a dish or a tray that contains it is a really good way of doing that. If you've got keys and wallet and phone and you want them to feel away, but you want them to be out in terms of accessibility, in terms of visibility, grabbing a basket or a container, something that you can, paperwork's the same. If you feel like there's forever paperwork on your kitchen bench, why don't you grab a container that lives where you dump all the paperwork and all of a sudden it's out and away. You can achieve both outcomes and the benefits of both. So that's what I do with my makeup and toiletries and deodorant and that type of thing. They're on a tray. It's very specific what's on there. All proper makeup items blush and eyeshadow and lipstick, all of that is away in a container in a little cupboard. However, I do have my everyday needs out on the bench. One of the things that has been a challenge in our house is, do you put your work bag away or does that stay out? So I'm a put my work bag away person. And what I have is in my office, I've got some cube storage and my work bag goes into one of those cubes. And so I put it away every single time I get home from seeing a client. Cal, however, finds it really frustrating to put his work bag away. So in his office, he just puts it on the floor next to his desk. So it's not away, it's out, it's visible, he can access it, he could probably trip over it if he wanted to. Can you tell that it's not how I would do it? But you've got to make the decision. Do you feel better when your work bag is away or when it's out? I find that when a work bag is out, it kind of signifies work's not really done. There's still something else to do. Whereas when you come home and you hang your work bag up, it's that is done. It is away. I'm putting a pin in that. I will pick it up again tomorrow and do what I need to do. And so from a mindset perspective, I find that really helpful. There are some items that used to be out items for us as a family and have become away items. One of those things is sunscreen. When the kids were little, sunscreen was definitely an out item. It would sit near the front door on a little thing and, practically every time the kids left the house, particularly in summer, sunscreen was going on. Whereas now that they're older, they keep sunscreen in their school bags. We still have sunscreen in the front room, but it's away. It's in a container and it's hidden away. So it's accessible, but we don't need that visual reminder anymore. And so there will be times when you go from having something that's an out item to making it an away item, and vice versa. Something might be an away item and you might be living with someone who has dementia, and so an away item needs to become an out item. Or maybe you've found out that you've got ADHD or someone in your family has executive functioning disorder, and you're like, oh, I know, that away item needs to become an out item so that they remember to do it. I know someone whose child would forever be forgetting to put undies on before school because their uniform was just out, and they would put their uniform on, but undies weren't out. And so undies needed to become an out item. They need to come out with the school uniform, no assumptions made, because while they were an away item, while they were in a drawer behind a cupboard door, they were out of sight, out of mind. So I think that whether you're an out or an away person, generally speaking, you're going to have some items that go the opposite way. And so just have a think as you're wandering around your house. Have a think if you want things to be out or away. I think being intentional and knowing your why is really important. Knowing, okay, it really bothers me if I had to get a phone charger out every single time I wanted to charge my phone. And so I'm going to have it out, but I'm going to make it so that it's not really like obvious or it's a trip hazard or it doesn't look ugly and out of place. I'm going to have it in this spot, and that's where I charge my phone. So it's out, but it's not just randomly thrown wherever I feel like it. And if your house is particularly cluttered, you might like to move a little bit more towards away. And if your home is really stark and you find that you're having to make a lot of effort to do things that shouldn't be a lot of effort, like make a piece of toast or a cup of tea, maybe you want to have some out items. I hope that's helpful. I've really enjoyed it. I've been thinking about my own home differently. Have a wander around your home, see how you go. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. And as always, I appreciate any reviews that you leave on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Google reviews. It definitely helps people to find the podcast. It makes my little heart warm. And until next week, enjoy the freedom. I would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people who are the traditional custodians of the land this podcast is recorded on. I would also like to pay respects to their elders, both past and present, of the Kulin Nation, and extend that respect to other Indigenous Australians. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would love you to rate and review the show on your podcast app. That will help others to find the Art of Decluttering podcast as well. If you'd like any more information, you can visit theartofdecluttering.com.au, and I would love to see you in my Facebook group. Just search the Art of Decluttering community on Facebook and join today. I hope that you have an incredible rest of your day and enjoy the freedom.